Hello, everyone, and welcome to this video. So, have you ever wondered how traders spot the perfect time to buy or sell Tesla stock using just one indicator? Well, in this video, I'll walk you through how to use Python to calculate the RSI or Relative Strength Index and pinpoint those opportunities with a simple yet powerful script. Whether you're coding for insight or investing for impact, you'll leave with this tool that actually makes some sense. So let's get right into it. And also, I should say that this is not financial advice, and this is just one of the strategies that have been used for trading in the stock market. And so we're going to use that same tool here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So currently I'm on Google's website. It's called colab.research.google.com. And I've already started writing my code here because I am now in the coding area. And this is exactly where I will be writing the code. So if you want to, you can go to this website. You can code along with me if you want. If not, just sit back and let's go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in some comments. So here I'm going to just put import the required libraries. All right, so I'm going to import pandas as PD, and I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And then we're going to run this cell by clicking that button to the left, and everything looks good. We get a little check mark, so everything's good. I want to create a new cell, clicking that code button in the top left. All right, and so next, I'm going to go ahead and read in the data file. So here I'm just going to put in read in the data file. All right. So to do that, I'm going to create a variable called df, and I'm going to set it equal to pd.read underscore csv, and then the name of the data file, which I've already uploaded. So I just come over here to this folder looking icon, and you can see the name of the data file, which is Tesla underscore data.csv. So let's just put that in here. So Tesla underscore data.csv. All right, and let's take a look at that file. So I'm going to just double click it. Let's exit out the left pane, and let's take a look at the file. So you can see that it has a date. It has close price, high price, low price. It has the open price and volume. All right, and then a whole bunch of data. So let's go ahead and exit this. And all this is Tesla stock data. So I'm going to parse dates from our date column. Okay, and then the index underscore call will be the date. All right. So we're loading the historical data and setting the date as the index here. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. Oh, and let's go ahead and show the data too. So here I put show the data. So just type df and let's run this. Okay, now we can see that same data set, but now the date is the index. Okay. And we have 1,256 rows of data in those 5 columns now. It was 6 before, but now we just have these 5. Alrighty, and it's about 5 years of data, so that looks good. Let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, this is where we're going to calculate the RSI. So we're going to create a RSI calculation function. So it's going to be a function to do RSI calculations. Alrighty, so again, RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. And this is one of those indicators that traders use to determine when to buy and when to sell stock. So let's go ahead and create this function. I'm going to call it compute underscore RSI, and it's going to take in some data and a window. I'm going to default window to be 14 days. So I'm going to put 14 here. Oops. All right, let's just press enter here. All right. So now I want to calculate the daily price changes. So I'm going to create a variable called delta, and I'm going to set it equal to data close price dot diff. And I like what Google has suggested there. Oh, I guess there we go. I like what it suggested. I'm going to make sure I spell data properly. All right, so this right here will calculate the daily price changes, and then Google is giving me Google is giving me some suggestions here for gain and loss. So we can extract positive price movements with gains, and we can extract negative price movements with loss. All right, so let's go ahead and just tab that over. That looks good. So we are going to be getting the delta where delta is greater than 0 here for gain. And we're going to be getting the loss where delta is less than 0 here. All right, and of course we have this negative value to make it positive. We probably could have also used absolute value. And also to do this, we could have used delta.clip for both of these, where it would be delta.clip lower equals 0 and delta.clip upper equals 0 for a loss. But of course, that negative would still be there for loss. All right, anyways, that's good enough. So there we're extracting the positive price movements, which is the gains, and we're extracting the negative price movements, which is the losses. And now here, Google's giving me another suggestion. It's setting the average gain, or it's computing the rolling average of gains over the window. So I like that, and I'm going to use it. Let's just tab over, and I'm just going to get rid of that second parameter. All right, let's get rid of that second parameter here. And that's good. So the window is going to be whatever the window is in the parameter. So it's going to be 14 in this case. And so that works for me. So here we're computing the rolling average of gains over the window. And here we're computing the rolling average of losses over the window, or within 14 days, right? Okay, that's 14 days is our window. Okay, so next we're going to calculate the relative strength, or RS. And again, Google has that formula for us already. You can find this formula online anywhere. So of course, it's just RS is equal to average gain divided by average loss. And we've already calculated both of those. And then to calculate RSI, it is equal to 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus RS. So everything looks good here. Let's just tab over, and then we're going to return RSI. So let's go ahead and run this. And now we have our function that calculates RSI. And I'm going to change this comment up here. So we're going to create here a function to calculate RSI, or relative strength index, RSI. All right, hopefully I'm spelling all that correctly. So it looks good. Let's run it one more time. All right, let's go to our next cell. And now in this cell, we are going to create our RSI based buy and sell strategy function. All right, so here I'm just going to put create the RSI strategy function. All right, so I like what Google put here. I'm just going to, I like that name. So let's call this RSI underscore strategy. All right, and we're going to take in a data set, and then we're going to take in a RSI column. So we're going to have a name for our, or we're going to have a column for holding the RSI values on our data set. Okay, so that's going to be whatever the name we give it here. It will be the RSI call. So for example, if we just call it RSI, then we have to be sure to put in the text RSI for RSI underscore call. I hope that doesn't confuse you, but you will see as we continue exactly what I mean. All right, so next, let's go ahead and create a variable called low threshold, or how about low thresh for short. So we're going to set that equal to 30. This is going to be one of our indicators that's going to tell us whether to buy or sell. And then we're going to have a high threshold, and we're going to set it equal to 70. And this will be our other indicator that will either tell us to buy or sell. More specifically, the 30 threshold will be used to tell us, when to buy, and that 70 threshold will be used to tell us when to sell. Okay. All right. Let's put colon. And now let's do this. Let's start with an initial buy on the first available date. So I'm going to create a variable called buy_signal, and I'm going to set it equal to a list, and it's going to hold data.index at position 0. All right. So we're starting with an initial buy on the first available date for our buy signal list. How do we know it's a list? Because of these square brackets. Okay. So let's create a sell signal list, and it will just be an empty list. So we're just going to do left and right square brackets. So we're initializing a list to store sell signal dates here. Okay. And let's get our last signal. So that's going to be a variable that will let us know when we've bought or when we've sold. So because we are initializing a buy signal, we are going to put or set or initialize our last signal to be buy. So this will help us keep track of the most recent signal type. Okay, now let's do a loop. So for I in range, and we're doing this loop so that we can loop through our data set. So for I in range 1 to the length of our data set, we're going to do some stuff. Okay. So first I want to get the previous day's RSI, and then I want to get the current day's RSI. So I'm going to create two variables. One will be called RSI underscore prev, and I like what Google has suggested here. So I'm just going to tab over. Let's bring this on up. Okay, so here we're just getting the previous day's RSI. You can tell by the I minus 1 here. So we're going to go into our data set. We're going to have a RSI column, right? And we're going to put that name here in our parameter so that we can use it here. So we can use RSI underscore call here. And then we're getting the location at position. If we're starting off at 1, it will be 1 minus 1, so it'll be position 0, right? And if we start at 0, that would be out of bounds. All right, so RSI underscore cur will be the current day's RSI, and so it will just be at position I, right? So previous, current. All right, so that looks good. Okay, so let's do a quick check. So if PD dot not NA RSI previous and PD dot not NA RSI current, then we can do some stuff. So I'm just going to tab over for now. So all we're doing here, we're basically just checking for NA values right here. We're checking for NA values. All right, so let's see here. So let's go with this. Oh, I like what Google suggested here. Let's switch it around a little bit though. But I like that. So if we're gonna start with the last signal instead. So if the last signal equals buy, and we want to get the sell signal right now. So the last signal has to be buy, and the RSI current is, I'm just gonna bring it over. RSI underscore current value is less than or equal to the high threshold. Yep, high threshold. And the RSI previous is greater than the high threshold. Then, yeah, we're gonna basically do this. So I like that. I'm just gonna move these around. Maybe I should have said it like this. RSI previous greater than high threshold. Yeah, that's fine. All right, well, I hope that's right. So then the cell signal, we're going to append to that cell signal list, we're going to append data.index at position I. Okay. All right, so I think that looks good. Also, we need to append to our buy signal nothing. So we're going to put none here. And then we're going to switch our signal to be a cell signal. So now our last signal is a cell signal. Okay. So let's create our else if statement, which will be very, very similar. Google has already guessed exactly what we wanted to do here. So I'm just going to tap over and I'll kind of explain it as well. So else if the last signal is cell and the RSI, the current RSI is greater than or equal to the low threshold and the previous RSI is less than the low threshold, then we are going to buy. So we're going to append data.index at position I. And then we're going to append to our cell signal list none, because we're not putting anything in there. But I want the list to basically be similar, right? And then the last signal will be buy. Okay, so now we're going to go back to buy. So our signal should only be buy and sell, and everything else looks good. And I will put a else statement here. And yeah, that works. So we can say else buy signal dot append none, sell signal dot append none. So we're not going to put anything for buy signal or sell signal. And then else, if it doesn't go to this first if statement here, that means if either one of these have a NA value, then we're going to just append none to the list as well. And then we're going to return our buy signal and our sell signal. All right. Okay. So I think that looks good. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes here. So let's run this. Let's create a new cell. And now let's apply the strategy. So we're going to apply the RSI strategy. All right. So I am going to take our data set, which was DF. I'm going to create a new column. I'm going to call it RSI. And I'm going to set it equal to our function, which was called compute underscore RSI. And we're going to put in our data set DF. All right. So now this is the column that we created. It's called RSI. So let's get that list of buy and sell dates from our strategy function. So buy underscore dates and sell underscore dates. I'm going to set them equal to RSI underscore strategy. I'm just going to tab over here. And remember, RSI strategy takes in a data set and it takes in the name of our RSI column, which is RSI. So let's go back up here just to make sure, right? So we have data and then we have RSI column. And then we have these optional parameters where we can change them up if we want to, or we can leave them as is. So I'm going to leave it as is, so I don't need to put anything else here in my parameter. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Let's create a new cell. And now I want to plot Tesla's close price with buy/sell markers. All right, so I'm going to type plt.figure. I'm going to give our figure a figure size. We'll do, it has 12 by 6 here. I'm going to do 14 by 6. And then we are going to plot the close price. So Google has already made a suggestion here for us. So plt.plot df.index, right? That's our date. So we're going to plot the date and df close. Okay, that'll work. And then we'll give this a label. So label So the close price will be on the y-axis, and df.index will be on the x-axis, which will be the dates. The label will be close price, and alpha will equal 0.5. I like that. And then let's add color. Color equals gray. Oh, where'd that go? Oops. All right, so color equals gray. All right, so that should work. Next, let's go ahead and add those markers. We're going to add the buy and sell signals. So we're going to use a scatter plot. So type plt.scatter, and we're going to put in our buy_dates, right? Because in our function, when we appended our signals, we appended data.index, right? So we were appending the date of those sell signals and the buy signals. All right, so we're going to put in the dates on the x-axis, and we need to get the close price for that same day. So to do that, just type ef.lot and then square brackets and then buy_dates, comma, close. Okay, and then the marker will be a up symbol, and then the color will be equal to green for buy, and then the label will be equal to buy signal. Okay, and let's press enter. Maybe Google will write everything else for us, and it did. So I'm just going to tab over. So it put plt.scatter for our cell signals or cell markers. So put the cell dates, and then it gets the close price for that date. It puts the marker, it puts a V, which will be a downward marker, and then the color will be red for sell. And then, of course, the label will be sell signal. All right, and then the title, Tesla close price with buy sell signals. That works. And output I add based on RSI. Okay. All right, next let's go ahead and type plt.x label. Give our plot a label on the x-axis. We'll put date, and then plt.y label to give a label on the y-axis. We're going to put close price, and a legend is good, and then plt.show. That looks good. So I'm just going to tab over, and I'm going to put a little $sign here, and then we have our legend. So that looks good. Here I'm going to type plt.grid and put in true, and plt.height layout. Okay, so let's run this. Let's see. What did it not like? NAT not in index. All right, so let's go back up and let's see what's going on. So buy_dates, bf.lock. We have buy_dates. We have close, comma, marker, comma, color equals green, comma, label equals buy signal. So buy_dates, did we run that? We did. Let's take a look at buy_dates really quick. Buy_date. Oh, a lot of none values. Okay. Let's see, and then we have a timestamp. Okay, let's do this actually. Let's go back up. There we go. Go back up. Get rid of this cell. Let's make some changes here to our strategy. So what I'll do, instead of putting none here, let's comment that out here. Let's get rid of this. Nope. Alrighty. And let's run this again. All right, so let's run all the way from the beginning. So I'm going to run this. I'm going to run this. Scroll down. Let's run this. Let's run this now. So we're not putting any none values, right? That's what we're checking for at the very beginning. So we're not going to put any of that in here. So that was my mistake there. So let's make sure I run that. And now let's run this. And now let's run this. Beautiful. All right. So we got rid of that, the none values, the nan values. I don't know what I was thinking, but at least we got rid of them. And now our plot looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and add to this plot. I'm going to add the RSI plot. So let's plot the RSI values with the threshold lines. All right, so I'm going to type plt.figure, and let's give the figure a fixed size and set it equal to 14 by 4. Okay, and then plt.plot, we're going to plot the RSI. All right, and let's give this a label. So the label will be RSI, and the color will be equal to, we'll go with blue. And then let's type, okay, I like what Google suggested here. I'm just going to tab over. So, okay, overbought, I have to think about this. So when y equals 30, that really means oversold. So here we're going to put oversold 30. And then this right here will be overbought. And we're going to put 70. So this is why you got to sometimes check with AI, right? Okay, and I want this to be green, because if it's oversold, then that's a buying opportunity. And if it's overbought, then that's a selling opportunity. So we're going to use green for buy and red for sell. Okay. All right, I think that looks good. Now, it looks like Google wants to do everything else for us, which is fine. We're going to put a label, or we're going to have a title, right? So right here it has the title, Relative Strength Index RSI of Tesla stock. That works for me. Then it's putting the label on the x-axis is going to be the date. The y label will be RSI value. That looks good. We're going to give it a legend. We're going to give it a grid, a tight layout, and we're going to type plt.show to show the plot. So let's go ahead and just tab over. All of that looks good. Let's run this, and hopefully this time there are no errors. And there we go. So we get two charts here. And the chart below is the relative strength index, or RSI, chart for our Tesla stock for the past about 5 years, right? And this is our threshold, which is 70 RSI. So once it goes above that line, then that tells us that it's a selling opportunity. And when it goes below this green line here, it tells us it's a buying opportunity. All right, and let's see how well that strategy really held up in the past 5 years or so. So we have our first buy signal here, which is on the first date, right? And then we have our sell signal. So that means that we had our sell signal sometime around, I don't know what date that is, but it probably correlates to something around here. All right, and then buy, sell. So right now we're still profitable. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, because we're buying lower than we're selling it at. Buy, sell, so buying low, selling high, buying low, selling high, buying low, selling high, buying low, selling lower. All right, so here the strategy does not work so well. And then let's see here, buy low, sell high, buy low, we're selling even lower. So here looks like a second time that the strategy was not so great. Then buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, or higher, I should be saying. Buy low, sell higher. Buy low, sell higher. Buy low, sell higher. Buy low, sell higher. Buy low, not really, but you are buying lower than what the stock price was all the way up here, and then you're selling even lower. So what was that, 3 times that this strategy didn't work? So not terrible compared to how many times we would have bought and sold Tesla stock. But that's basically it. That's how you can detect Tesla's buy and sell signals using RSI, all with Python and your own data. And if this helped demystify technical analysis or gave you a financial toolkit, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching the video. You will find more tutorials like this on this channel, and you can get the code or the data set on Patreon at patreon.com/computerscience. Thanks for watching and keep coding with a purpose. And I will talk to you all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.